Hello, welcome. This is Edson again, the host of the channel, and yeah, welcome back to JV2 Chat. Again, thank you to everybody who's been watching the videos. I've been getting a couple of views here and there, and I appreciate it. If you've been sharing it, I appreciate it too. I know I have some people from TikTok or Instagram watching there as well, and again, just appreciate it, and hopefully everybody just likes it when we get to talk about football. But aside from that, we last videos, I think I did a little do over, cutting it on two separate pieces, which I think that's what I'm gonna do because I really did like the concept. Talking about the weekdays and then the weekend. I think that's what I'm gonna go for because I really did like it. But yeah, that's what we're gonna go for. And I think last couple of games we went into Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. So now we're gonna move into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we'll go from there. But the games ended on that Monday on the last video, so now we're gonna move into Tuesday. And the interesting part about this is that obviously Champions League. Now, the video that I did before obviously didn't include the Champions League, but this one is or anything like that. I did do a video on my TikTok that I plan on posting. So if anybody would like to check that, then it is right there and more than appreciated as well. Just an overall about each team, each bracket, and each match, and we'll just see what happens from there. But very, very exciting games and very, very exciting times. But we'll move on and we'll start talking about Tuesday, in which again we had a couple of games, and obviously we had the Champions League starting and obviously Champions League round of 16, you know things are going to get down. And I talked a little bit about it on the TikTok, but I'm going to talk about a little bit about it here. Milan Tottenham. Now I had told one of my friends that this game was interesting to me because both teams to me were in a rut. Tottenham being in a rut because again, I've praised them and I've criticized them, but they have good players and they just need to learn how to play as a collective, whether that's Conte or the system. I'm not sure, but they're mediocre. And again, Milan are not in the best of forms as well. They've been picking up the form, but they've also been faulting in some of it. They've been losing their last couple of games, whether it's the Sassuolo one or the Inter's one. It just depends, but they've not been the Milan that won the Scudetto last season. And this was gonna be a good match because it would just depend who would come out on top. Both of the teams not at their full strength best side right now, but it would be who came out on top and showed it. And Milan last season as well did not have a good UCL run, and Tottenham as well. Just poor in general, but we just see stuff and we see things on this match in which Milan just took kind of a little effect and just went in full force. Teo Hernandez played really good, and so did Brahim Diaz connecting with with Leao, and just connected it well. Did very very well, and they just executed the game in a way that I think was perfectly executed, exploiting Tottenham's weaknesses and just the ability to get forward. Um, was just there. Tottenham just did not play the ground, and they actually, I don't even think they had that much shooting. Tottenham did have a lot more possession, but in terms of shots and everything, I think it was all Milan who just stepped up and did everything pretty much that they could. But that is how we move into the match, and Milan just get the win. The next game is obviously going to be very exciting because it just depends on a couple of different things. And while I do think Tottenham will still get the win, I also do think that Milan can just full on shut them down completely because we know Conte's not good in brackets, and we know just Tottenham are Tottenham. And I'm excited because I think again this Milan team has a lot to prove. Poor in the league and with Napoli running with it, and they've missed Europe dearly. So again, these are exciting times in a game like this as well. But anyways, enough about that. We also move into the other game, which classic. You can just call it a UCL classic now because that's what it is. PSG against Bayern Munich. Before the game, and even before Mbappe got injured, I could have told you that PSG was going to do things to this Bayern team. Show them who was the top dog. And not only because they had Messi, not only because of the players that they gathered, the system that they gathered, the coach that they gathered, but I just believed in them. I just believed in them. But then the past couple of weeks, with taking Mbappe's injury aside, where they've lost, obviously against Marseille, and then the other Monaco, those two losses were big losses for them because those two teams are good and they gave them a run for their money. The thing with PSG that I've been starting to see is that yes, they're a super team. They buy the best players in the world. I don't know if according to them, but the best players in the world and try to just fit them in a team. Now, if you don't have a system or a clear idea of what you want to do, it's never going to work. You have three of the best players in the world, but are not adjusting to any of their playing styles. You have to adjust to three of them, and that is a problem. Obviously, Mbappe, Neymar, Messi. I think they're all different types of players, and that's why they don't have a clear system. Obviously, they don't press with the team. That could be an issue, but those three teams going forward and attacking, you don't need anything else. But they lack identity. PSG are a team that lack identity. They don't know how to play. They don't know who to play through. Sometimes they get the results, don't get me wrong, but other times it's just very faulty, and you never know what's going to happen. And that's what I think it happened on this one. They didn't have Mbappe on the field. Once he came in, he changed the match completely for them. Ramos, for me, was man of the match for them. Ramos played phenomenal and stopped so many attacks. But Bayern just kept on pushing, kept on going, kept on shutting Messi, kept on shutting Neymar. And that midfield was completely disastrous. Marquinhos was somehow drifting into the right side, playing as like a right back, which I didn't like. Maybe a CDM role, but I just didn't like that. With Danilo slotting into the back or something like that. I didn't like that. I didn't think it worked. And I just think... See, I don't know if I can blame the manager, Galtier, because I don't know if it's his fault. I just know that a lot of things didn't go the way they were supposed to, or at least the way that they thought they would. But Bayern just did what Bayern do best. They attacked, and they got the goal. Musiala, threatful as ever. Choupo-Moting doing very, very well. And just Kingsley Coman and the amazing run that he's having, scoring against his old club. Just doing phenomenal. And yeah, Bayern just get the win, deserved the win. Because I do think that they were the better team. PSG might have had more moments, but Bayern were just a better team, and they overwhelmed them. That is what I think about the match, and yeah, that's how that match ends for me. But a lot of thoughts on it, but that's what I can say. Again, Tuesday we move into some Liga MX games in which we have León Puebla, which León won 2-0, and then Tigres against FC Juarez, who again, Tigres tied 0-0. And then America against San Luis, which America won 3-1. At the end of the video, we'll probably check the bracket just to refresh it and see what's all been happening. That's all for Tuesday. We're then going to move on into Wednesday. In which Wednesday, obviously still Champions League day, but we have big games this day as well. In which, and yeah, I guess we'll talk about that first. Manchester City against Arsenal. Big dog against the little brother that's coming to dominate up top. It was just going to be an absolute stunning game to watch. And it was. I watched this game over the Champions League games. And I wouldn't put it aside of people if they did too, because it meant a lot. This game meant a lot. Being Premier League, taking the game in hand aside, this meant that Manchester City could be at the top again. And the end result showing 3-1 to Man City, that is what happened. But obviously, having to watch the other game, the game that they played in the FA Cup, I think it was, both teams set up differently. And this team, Pep just didn't care and just full on treacherous dominate. I will say Arsenal did play better, but again, City just had moments of magic, moments of luck. It doesn't matter. They got the goals and they got the job done. Unlucky Arsenal, maybe, but City just showed a dominance that they needed, and City just showed at any time we can take the league away. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it could. It very much could. Arsenal could run away with it as well. But this game was just a tremendous spectacle to watch, back and forth here and there, and we obviously just see a couple things in which we acknowledge Kevin De Bruyne with mistakes by Tomiyasu. Obviously not intentional. Tomiyasu tried clearing the ball, but then it just faltered into his feet, and then De Bruyne with Ramsdale out. Obviously going to be a goal, and it just happened. But then we obviously see a pen for Arsenal, which just revived the fans. Bukayo Saka stepping up and just completely annihilating Ederson, which was pointing, and he went there. Completely amazing Bukayo Saka, probably player of the match for me for that Arsenal team, and just completely outdone himself. It was amazing, it was good, but then here's where City just comes in. Riding in heavy on that right side, Tomiyasu then comes back in and leaves Jack Grealish by himself, into which Jack Grealish just slots it in the back of the net. Nice and easy as it comes, and just does brilliant with the finish. Obviously assisted by yours truly again, Kevin De Bruyne, which probably was the man of the match for Manchester City. But just again, they showed their fluidity in the game, and they showed how to kill an opponent when they press like that and when they move their numbers and shift their sides. And obviously the ending goal, which was Erling Haaland's, inevitable that he's going to score on games, and ends up just getting his goal in this game, in which obviously was just amazing, because it just gave that breeze of air for them. It wasn't the 82nd minute, but it just let them breathe and calm down a little bit, as they were just 2 goals up now, and it wasn't that big of a threat. But obviously we know Pep and his thinking, but that's how that game ends, and it was just amazing spectacle. City going on top. Obviously Arsenal won game in hand, but City go on top for the first time in a very long time. And yeah, it was just very good game to see. Moving on from that, we do obviously go into La Liga, and we have the Madrid against Elche, in which Real Madrid just completely destroy Elche. Obviously we know Elche being the worst team in La Liga with 20 points and 1 win, I'm pretty sure. But Real Madrid just go ahead and take advantage of the opportunities that are presented to them, in which obviously this is a game that they very much needed to and will win, in which they did. Marco Asensio scoring the goal in the 8th minute, assisted by Dani Carvajal. Benzema getting 2 penalties, 2 goals, and just amazing form, amazing what he does and how he contributes to the team, even though a lot of things going on with them, obviously. And then last goal coming in, Luka Modric in the 80th minute, which again, 4-0, just obviously confidence booster in what they need. Yes, it's the worst team in La Liga, but players for confidence, Benzema for confidence, Asensio for confidence. Asensio coming in back into the team, looking very nice, but it's just good to see that, as they are able to rotate some people and just keep on being behind Barca's tail, which is something that happened this game, and that's just good. It's good for them, and it's good in a good way that just unfolds everything or whatever. Moving on to the Champions League, we do have Benfica against Club Brugge, which I thought this game was going to be very good, because obviously Club Brugge, what they did in the group stages was amazing. The only fault thing that I did notice was the manager that they appointed. I'm not sure if their past manager was just doing bad or not doing what they wanted to, but Scott Parker, the manager that got sacked by Bournemouth, was the one that came in. And it was just going to be weird for me, but I thought Benfica was just going to get the win. Yes, they were missing Enzo Fernandez, but they still have class players. João Mario, Gonçalo Ramos, Rafa. It's just good. It was going to be good, and that's what I thought. And that's what it was, as they went 2-0, comfortable win, and Club Brugge possessed no sort of threat, I don't think. But Yeah, you just get the win like that, in which Mario slots in a penalty, and then David Neres gets a goal. Just simple like that. This is a game that I did not catch, but yeah, that's all I saw. Some of the highlights here and there, and it was just good game overall like that. I did see part of the Dortmund against Chelsea, which is the next game. I thought this game was going to be very good as well, very tight and very tight and very tight. As Chelsea were behind the ropes and having some pressure on their back, because I think they built a Champions League level team in which amazing depth, amazing players that can cause trouble. And that's what I thought coming into the match. However, Dortmund have been doing amazing in the past couple of games, getting results, getting big wins, trying to keep up with the other players in the Bundesliga, and hopefully just get closer to that first place. And I thought that they had something to prove in this game as well. And that is exactly what happened as Dortmund get the win, being the game just 1-0, in which a lot of things happened. A lot of yellow cards shown, very tight game, very tedious. But in the 63rd minute, Karim Adeyemi, as the manager said, me, kept running, and just slotted in. Nice, easy finish for him. But he's very much grown into this team. That Salzburg player that they signed is easily getting unlocked now, and that's a good thing because obviously I know they have Haller and they have Donyel Malen, but it's working for Adeyemi as he was supposed to be that heir to Holland. But I'm just glad to see that he's doing good. He scored the goal, obviously was assisted by Guerreiro, who's been getting up his numbers and assists, and it's just been very good for them, for Dortmund. But Chelsea, again, poor, faulty on the wins, and it just keeps happening. So you can just wonder what is going to happen. Can Chelsea turn around next leg, or is Dortmund just going to shut it down and just do their ways and just win the game, I guess? But it was a good game to watch. That's the game that I did watch, aside from the obvious one. But that's how that game ends. We move into Liga MX this Wednesday as well. Chivas Tijuana 2-1 winning to Chivas. Monterrey Querétaro 2-0 to Monterrey. And then Necaxa beating Pumas 3-1. Moving on, we go into Thursday, February 16th, in which we have Europa Conference and Europa League games. I'm not going to cover these games unless it's some that I kept up with or that I wanted to see. Maybe not in depth like that, but there is one that I want to cover in depth, and I'm pretty sure we all know which one it is. But we'll go through these and just wait a little bit. Fiorentina winning against Braga 4-0, and then Lazio getting the win 1-0. And then Salzburg beating Roma 1-0. Sevilla beating PSV 3-0, which is a game that I didn't expect, as PSV have been doing good on the league, and I think they were coming off that 6-0 win, and Sevilla obviously have just been growing into La Liga, and they grew into this game and just won 3-0 against a PSV team that I thought had a lot more to prove, but it wasn't the case. Next second leg is going to be very, very exciting. But yeah, good game there. Juventus tying 1-1 against Nantes, which obviously can go either way. Just as crazy as that sounds, it can go either way. Monaco against Leverkusen, which is, and again, the other game that I watched this day, was just amazing. Completely amazing. Back and forth game, but then towards the 80th minute, Disasi, the center back, scoring a worldie and just getting the win for his team. And then the game that I cared about, Barcelona against Manchester United. This is Europe heritage. This game was everything that is good with football. And so many people tuned in to watch this game, and the game completely delivered. Because obviously, Camp Nou, Rashford in form, the backline for Barcelona completely amazing. And this was just a game that I was excited for because of many reasons. One, I wanted our center backs to face a world class threat, the most player in form in the whole of Europe. Rashford, I really wanted to see that, and I'm glad that I did. But there was a lot of faults to be said as well. I've been seeing Barca fans complaining about Xavi's and how he probably over thought of it like Pep did, and I think he did as well. There was changes made to that back line, having moved Araujo into the right back's spot because I think he thought Rashford was going to play there, but that wasn't the case. Messing up the flow in which having to put Alonso in at center back when Christensen was the one that was doing phenomenal. I think he deserved the start, but it wasn't in this case. Jordi Alba, I think, put in a good shift, but Balde came in and did really good too. Which for the next leg, I think there's just gonna be a lot of things to be said. And then obviously we missed Pedri. Pedri got injured, and it's just very very unlucky because we know what a world class talent that kid is, what a phenomenal player he is. But obviously he gets injured, and that's when the whole game changed, in my opinion. Gavi as well set to miss out the next game as he couldn't control himself just a little longer and shoved them and got the yellow card because of so many warnings. And obviously we were missing Dembele, but Rafinha played really, really well. This game had everything. Had everything. The drama, a lot of the possession going our way, but Manchester United were just that counter-attacking team that just gave everybody a headache. But again, I think Xavi just overthought of it and got a couple things wrong, which hopefully we can work on. But obviously, it's going to have to be at Old Trafford, which is becoming a fortress. So very unlikely, but I still hope and I still believe in my team because that's all that I can do. As well, we could either concede the 2 goals this game, but as well we can be a force to be reckoned with. And I hope we're able to show that in the second leg. And I don't want anybody to take anything away from this match, but there was just a lot of things that happened like that. But we moved on. We moved on. The first half was really really good for us, I thought, but then the second half is when we stepped it up a little bit, but then they did as well, and we were faulty with it. Marcos Alonso scoring his goal off of a corner from Rafinha, which just gave me hope and gave me so much joy. But then Marcus Rashford slotting in that goal a couple of minutes after, with Ter Stegen having dived on the near post and beaten there, Rashford just gets the goal on a very tight angle that I didn't even think he was going to make. Jules Koundé, very, very unfortunate as obviously the own goal, but I don't think there was anything else he could have done as faulty things just happened and whatnot, but it just ended like that, and there was not a lot of things that could be done, but that is what happened, and unfortunate, he just scored the own goal, and it just happened. After that happened, me personally, I didn't think we had what it took to come back, but as that mentality that we're starting to build up came on forth, we were able to with the Rafinha goal, which a lot of people thought that it was Lewandowski's goal, but Lewandowski just disguised it into Rafinha's goal, which was completely amazing. The head didn't see it coming, and it just went in. And this, again, so much joy it gave me, assisted by Jules Koundé, who reiterates from his own goal. And the game just goes in after that, and not a lot of things happened. But the game was just like that, and it was very, very good, I thought, from my perspective. But it was just crazy. It was such a crazy match. But I'm glad that I was able to watch it, and I'm just praying that we can beat them. I'm confident that we can beat them, but we'll have to see. If there's any United fans, you're free to discuss your thoughts, but that is what I think about the game. And that is what happened on the Thursday. Liga MX, we have Mazatlan against Pachuca, which Pachuca just went 3-2. And then obviously moving into the last day of the video being Friday, in which a couple things did happen. We had Al Nassr against Al Taoun, in which Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm pretty sure, gets the 2 assists. Which again, just happy for him, he's getting his numbers up and whatnot. That's how the game ends. Augsburg Hoffenheim, game ends 1-0. La Liga, we have a good game in which Girona killed Almeria 6-2. And again, just goal galore for Girona. And the one that I'm more interested about was that, I hope I don't butcher this, Sigankov, the Ukrainian guy. It's just a crazy signing for Girona, but I'm glad he's there because on this match he very much turned up. and it was just a good game to keep up with and watch. I didn't watch it, but I was keeping up with it, and the scoreline was just amazing. But the game ends like that. Auxerre against Olympic Lyon. Auxerre winning 2-1, which is kind of crazy because let me just check where they are. That's all I'll do. In the table, we have obviously Olympic Lyon having in ninth and Auxerre in 18th. So very good result for them. And we obviously have the Serie A game in which Napoli won 2-0. Which again, Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen, what a pairing they're becoming. I don't want to say they remind me of Harry Kane and Son, but that's just the closest or the soonest partnership that comes to my mind, and they're just completely dominating in that league and doing amazing. And I hope that they show it against their game that they have against Frankfurt. That's going to be very, very good to watch. But that is how that game ends on Serie A, which again, they're just completely dominating the league and whatever. And the last games, we have Liga MX, in which we saw León and Juárez 0-0, and then my dear Cruz Azul gets their win 3-1 against Puebla, which just brings joy to the heart because this obviously meant a lot. First win in a lot of games. But yeah, moving still into 16, still a long way to go, but this is the right way in which getting wins is what we need. But yeah, I'll leave the video here for this one. Again, weekend roundup. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you watch it and just share it if you want. Leave a like, leave a comment. I really, really appreciate it. But if not, check the other socials at JV2Chat. And again, thank you for everything. See ya.